Have you ever wondered why people hesitate before messing with you? Why certain attacks miss you completely, even when they were aimed right at your spirit? Why some people plan your downfall and then fall into their own trap? It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's protection. Chosen ones carry an invisible shield, an ancient divine force that even the darkest energies recognize. You're not just watched over. You are guarded. And even the darkness knows. Don't touch what heaven has marked. You might not see this shield with your physical eyes, but everything around you reacts to it. People pick up on it without even knowing why. That's why some get intimidated, why others feel exposed in your presence. Your energy exposes the unseen. The chosen ones aren't walking around unguarded. Every step you take is accompanied by spiritual armor, and the darker forces can sense it before they even try to get close. That's why they hesitate. That's why they try manipulation instead of direct attacks. Because they know, if they touch you the wrong way, something from above will move. You've probably felt it too, those moments when everything around you goes silent, and your spirit knows a shift is taking place, not just in the room, but in the realm. When darkness tries to enter your space, it's checked before it even arrives. Not because you prayed harder than others. Not because you're perfect, but because you're chosen. You were set apart before you were born. You don't have ordinary covering. You have divine assignments on your life that demand divine security. That's why you keep surviving things others don't. That's why you come out of storms not only untouched, but upgraded. Your protection isn't passive. It's active. It's moving in real time, watching the future, rerouting dangers before they ever touch your path. People may think you're walking alone, but you're surrounded, not just by angels, but by authority. That's why when people gossip, it doesn't stick. When they curse you, it rebounds. When they try to block you, you go higher. Because you're not operating under man's laws. You're under divine jurisdiction. What most don't realize is, the more they target you, the stronger your covering becomes. The enemy has tried again and again, but the blueprint of your life can't be rewritten by darkness. You weren't built to be shaken. You were built to shake atmospheres. Your name carries weight in the spirit realm. And because of that, you move with backup. Even in your weakest moments, the darkness trembles when you rise. You might be in a valley, but your protection hasn't left. You might be misunderstood, rejected, lied on, but you are still covered, still chosen, still armed with light. The darkness doesn't fear who you are in public, it fears who you are in private. When you worship with no audience, when you pray when no one is watching, when you obey divine instructions even when it costs you, that's what triggers your protection. That's what puts you in another league. Some of you have survived death itself. Close calls, accidents, attacks, sickness, not because of luck, but because you have unfinished assignments. The reason your enemies don't understand why you keep rising is because they only see the surface. They don't see the hidden hand that blocks every dart, cancels every curse, silences every demon assigned to your downfall. What protects you is not weak. It's not passive. It's not soft. It's strategic. Every step you take is ordered. Every delay is divine. Every rejection is a redirection. Every betrayal is a setup for exposure. And all of it is under protection. The reason why even demons back off when you enter a room is because your energy is loud in the spirit. You may walk quietly, but your frequency is screaming warfare. You carry the vibration of someone who's been through fire and didn't burn. Of someone who's seen shadows and never surrendered. You are the living evidence that chosen doesn't mean easy. It means protected through the chaos. Every time you felt like you were about to fall apart, but didn't, that was protection. Every time you almost made a decision that would have destroyed your future, but something pulled you back, that was protection. Every time they came for you and couldn't finish what they started, that wasn't coincidence. That was your spiritual security showing up again. You are hidden in plain sight. That's why some people overlook you. It's part of your protection. Because if they could see the full weight of your calling, they'd try harder to destroy you. So heaven lets you be underestimated until it's time. And when it's time, everything shifts. Your protection doesn't just guard you, it times your revealing. And listen closely. The reason you're still standing, still breathing, still sane after everything you've gone through is because the darkness knows who you are. It knows your destiny is dangerous. It knows your existence is warfare. You threaten everything it tried to build. That's why it tried to break you early. That's why it used people close to you to wound you. That's why it disguised pain as normal. But even then, you were still protected, still sealed, still watched by eyes that never sleep. You didn't just survive those attacks. You outlived them. You healed. You grew. You became more alert, more discerning. And now your protection isn't just over your life. It's over your atmosphere, over your conversations, over your purpose. You are spiritually firewalled. No weapon formed against you has ever prospered, and it never will. That's not just a verse. That's your reality. Some people don't understand why they can't destroy you. They tried to isolate you, but you became wiser. They tried to expose you, but it revealed them. They tried to curse you, but you multiplied. Because the more you are attacked, the more your protection activates. The more you're hated, the more favor wraps around you. That's spiritual law. This is why you don't panic when you're under pressure. You already know, pressure produces oil. Attacks precede elevation. Resistance reveals destiny. And your protection isn't always in the form of a block. Sometimes your protection shows up in the storm. It keeps your mind when everything is breaking. It gives you strategy when others collapse. It strengthens you while they watch and wait for you to fall. You are being watched, yes, but not just by people. You're being watched by the darkness that knows exactly who you are. That's why it keeps sending distractions. Not because you're weak, but because you're dangerous. The chosen ones don't just survive. They transform. They don't just pray. They shift timelines. They don't just exist. They interrupt demonic patterns. That's why you're protected. Because you're disruptive. To darkness. To mediocrity. To every generational curse that tried to continue through you. And here's the part most people miss. Your protection isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it isolates you to protect you. Sometimes it removes people you love. Sometimes it closes doors that look good, but would have killed your calling. That's not punishment. That's preservation. You are too valuable to be placed anywhere. Too anointed to be connected to anyone. Too called to be distracted. This is why nothing ordinary can hold your spirit. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to shift atmospheres, and atmosphere shifters must be shielded. Your protection isn't just about you. It's about everyone tied to your assignment. Your future children, your legacy, your spiritual lineage. What covers you is generational. Every time you tried to step into a place that didn't feel right, and something inside you said don't go, that was your protection. Every time you couldn't sleep because your spirit was disturbed, that was a warning system built into your DNA. You are wired for spiritual alertness. You're not just protected externally, you're protected from within. Even when you were a child, the darkness tried to reach you early, through trauma, through fear, through instability. But even then, something covered you. You saw things others didn't. You felt danger before it arrived. You walked into rooms and felt energy shift. That wasn't random. That was training. You were born with spiritual sensors because your assignment required them. And now you understand. Your protection isn't just armor. It's intelligence. It's awareness. It's foresight. It's knowing when to move, when to be silent, when to speak, when to wait. That's how you've outmaneuvered so many traps. Because you're not just covered, you're guided. This is why your enemies are frustrated. They can't figure out how to block someone who walks with divine timing. They tried to delay you, but your delay became preparation. They tried to humiliate you, but it became your revelation. They tried to isolate you, but it became your elevation. Because what protects you also develops you. And here's the final truth. The protection over your life can't be canceled by man. Not by gossip, not by betrayal, not by witchcraft, not by rejection. Your security is spiritual. It came with your assignment. It is activated every time you obey the unseen. Every time you say yes to what makes no sense. Every time you trust what you can't yet see. You were never unprotected. Not even in your wilderness. Not even in heartbreak. Not even when you thought you were forgotten. You were hidden for your unveiling. You were preserved for divine timing. And now, you're entering the season where even your enemies will have to admit there was something greater covering you the whole time.